Have you ever heard of a place where fish literally fall from the sky during rainstorms? A place where there is a legal wife market held every 3 months? Or a country that once went to war just because of a soccer match? Welcome to Honduras, one of the most mysterious and least known countries in Central America. Today we will explore 15 shocking facts and cultural taboos that will completely change the way you see this fascinating nation. From airports so dangerous that passengers applaud when they land safely. Let's begin with perhaps the most shocking fact on this list. In a small village in northwestern Honduras, something that sounds medieval is happening right now in 2025. Every 3 months, 100 to 200 young women gather at what locals call the wife market. And the practice is legally recognized and protected under Honduran law. According to local regulations, a husband has the customarily allowed to bring his wife to this market to present his wife to other men with another man. The market attracts dozens of local men who come to inspect, negotiate, and transact. What makes it even more complicated is that others come voluntarily, hoping to escape hardship and find a better life. There are documented cases of women who were treated badly by their ex-husbands, but then found love and respect from their new partners. This creates a moral dilemma that challenges our modern understanding of marriage, consent, and women's rights. Speaking of women's rights, Honduras is a heartbreaking contradiction. The country is home to some of the most beautiful women in Central America, many possessing a striking blend of indigenous, European, and African features. But behind that surface lies a harsh reality that makes Honduras one of the worst places in the world to be born a girl. With a population of around 11 million, more than 50% under the age of 30, the nation is facing a crisis of the problem of early marriage problem and early motherhood. Honduras has the second highest rate of early motherhood in the world. Of 195 countries, Honduras ranks second in the percentage of girls born before they are emotionally, financially, or mentally prepared for motherhood. Now, let's move from social issues to something that sounds mythical but is entirely real. In the small town of Yoro, Honduras, people experience one of the strangest weather phenomena on Earth: fish literally raining from the sky. This is not folklore or exaggerated local legend. The event, known locally as Lluvia de Peces, occurs at least once a year and has been documented by scientists, journalists, and researchers for decades. Imagine waking up after a heavy storm, stepping outside, and instead of puddles and wet sidewalks, you find hundreds of small fish scattered across the ground. In the 1970s, a research team from National Geographic traveled to Yoro to witness the fish rain firsthand. They documented the event and confirmed that fish do indeed fall from the sky during certain storms. But what is even stranger is that they are not ordinary fish. They appear to be species from the Atlantic Ocean, nearly 200 kilometers away. Yet scientific analysis has shown an even more puzzling fact: all of the fish collected after these rains are freshwater species, even though there are no major rivers or lakes near Yoro. For the people of Yoro, this phenomenon is not just a curiosity, it is a blessing. After each fish rain, families gather the fish, a valuable source of protein for meals. Children run through the streets with buckets, collecting the treasures that have fallen from the sky. But what would you do if fish started falling from the sky in your town? Do you know of any weirder phenomena? Challenge us in the comments with a fact from your country. If you are planning to visit Honduras, you need to know about Condom Airport in the capital, Tegucigalpa. This airport has been labeled one of the most dangerous in the world, and once you understand why, you will see why passengers applaud after a safe landing. Imagine this: you are preparing to land, and instead of a long, straight runway surrounded by flat terrain, you are flying toward mountains. Towering peaks surround the airport on all sides. As the plane descends, the pilot must execute a sharp 45-degree turn just before landing, a maneuver requiring incredible skill and perfect timing. But that is not the scariest part. The runway at Condom Airport is only about 2,170 meters long. For comparison, Los Angeles International Airport has runways up to 3,800 meters, almost twice as long. Yet somehow, large commercial jets like the Boeing 757 still have to land on this seemingly impossible strip of pavement. This is why every successful landing at Condom is greeted with enthusiastic applause from passengers and crew. When you step off the plane, you may even be greeted by airport staff saying emotionally, Congratulations, you have landed safely in Honduras. It is both heartwarming and unsettling that this has become a normal part of the travel experience. Condom secret, a cultural paradox. Here is where Honduras becomes truly contradictory, and this fact exposes strange moral paradoxes. Ready? Walking through Tegucigalpa, especially at night, you will see many women in the nightlife entertainment industry openly seeking customers. The activity is not hidden or underground, it is public, and law enforcement does not intervene because it is fully legal. Nightlife entertainment industry is regulated and accepted as part of the economy. But here is the unbelievable contradiction. Try buying a box of condoms at a pharmacy, and you will experience one of the most uncomfortable transactions of your life. Both you and the pharmacist act as if you are purchasing something deep in visible discomfort. This staggering contrast has spread unchecked. On the Caribbean coast of Honduras exists a society that may astonish most people with its approach to gender dynamics. In the Garifuna community, there is an unwritten but sacred rule: men never argue with women. And this is not just politeness, it is a core part of their spiritual and cultural identity. If you are a man, you are not allowed to raise your voice at a woman, especially not at your wife, mother, or elders. This is not enforced by formal law, but by a cultural norm so deeply rooted that violating it is considered spiritually dangerous. But what is truly fascinating is this. Women are not just respected, they hold real power. They own land, decide which schools the children attend, whether the house should be sold, and even whether the husband may invite relatives over. Men still fish, work, and socialize, but once they enter the home, they understand that women hold ultimate authority. Garifuna men are taught from a young age that women possess special spiritual abilities that connect them to ancestors and the spirit world. Women are seen as keepers of cultural knowledge, guardians of family lineage, and the bridge between the living and the dead. In 2011, Honduras caused international controversy by becoming the first country in the world to ban smoking not only in public places, but potentially inside private homes. If a guest or family member complains about your smoking, the police can come to your house and fine you $311. In a country where the monthly minimum wage is roughly $311, the fine equals an entire month's income for many people. In any open space, smokers must stand at least 1.8 meters away from non-smokers. This means that even in outdoor areas like parks or plazas, you cannot light a cigarette unless you maintain that distance. 9 out of 10 Hondurans with acute bronchitis live in homes with smokers. This means secondhand smoke is causing serious health problems for people who do not even smoke. The law has created some interesting social dynamics. Many smokers in Honduras now sneak cigarettes inside their homes, smoke in the bathroom with the window open, or step outside even during storms. Some families have built designated smoking areas in their yards, complete with ashtrays and chairs, treating smokers almost as if they are quarantined. This is a fact that will forever change how you view both Honduras and U.S. foreign policy. The term banana republic, which we now use to describe any politically unstable country with a weak economy, originates here. And the story behind it involves American businessmen, political coups, and economic manipulation that sounds like a movie. The story truly begins in 1910, when an American businessman named Sam Zemery entered the banana export industry in Honduras. In 1911, Zemery actually conspired with former Honduran President Manuel Bonilla to stage a coup against the sitting president, Miguel Davila, turning Honduras into the world's first true banana republic. The country became economically dependent on a single export product, with American companies controlling not only banana plantations but also railroads, ports, even much of the government. By 1929, Honduras had become the largest banana exporter in the world, but this success came at a heavy price. The entire economy lay under the control of foreign corporations, primarily the United Fruit Company, which essentially operated like a shadow government. They owned vast tracts of land, controlled transportation infrastructure, and wielded enormous influence over political decisions. The legacy of this Banana Republic era still affects Honduras today. Americans may joke about how seriously the rest of the world takes soccer, but in Honduras, that passion once led to war. In 1969, Honduras and El Salvador fought what became known as the Soccer War. The conflict began during the qualifiers for the 1970 World Cup. Honduras and El Salvador were competing for a spot in the tournament, and tensions between the two nations were already high due to immigration and economic disputes. But when El Salvador defeated Honduras in a decisive match, officially ending Honduras's World Cup dream, emotions spilled beyond the stadium. Just weeks after that soccer match, the two countries went to war. The soccer war lasted exactly 100 hours, becoming one of the shortest wars in modern history. The consequences were disastrous for both nations, especially for the roughly 300,000 Salvadoran migrants living in Honduras, many of whom were forced to flee back to El Salvador, triggering a refugee crisis that lasted for years. The war shows how deeply Hondurans value soccer, but it also reveals deeper social and economic tensions that can turn a sporting event into a national tragedy. A war over a soccer game is wild. What's one thing your country is so passionate about that it could jokingly start a war? Let us know what it is and where you're from in the comments. In the city of Choluteca in southern Honduras stands a monument to failed planning that has become famous worldwide. This is the most useless bridge in the world, and once you hear the story, you will understand why it is taught in business schools as a textbook example of poor project management. The bridge was completed in 1998 and was considered a marvel of modern engineering. Designed by Japanese engineers and built to withstand the powerful hurricanes that regularly strike Central America, it was meant to be Honduras's pride. The bridge was solid, beautiful, and represented millions of dollars in international investment. Just a few months later, Hurricane Mitch struck Honduras. It was one of the most devastating storms of the 20th century, dumping more than 75 inches of rain in just 4 days. The storm was so powerful that it literally reshaped the landscape of the country. Here is where the story becomes tragically absurd. The Choluteca River, which the bridge had been built to span, completely changed course during the storm. The massive rainfall and flooding caused the river to carve an entirely new channel through the terrain. It has become a surreal tourist attraction and a powerful symbol of how even the best laid plans can become completely useless due to circumstances beyond our control. Have you ever seen a useless bridge project in your own city or country? Describe it in the comments below. Let's examine this difficult issue. Honduras is truly one of the most dangerous countries in the world, and even the Honduran government acknowledges this reality. This is not an exaggeration by travel bloggers or media sensationalism. It is a serious security crisis affecting both locals and visitors. The security situation is so dire that San Pedro Sula, Honduras' second largest city, has repeatedly been ranked as one of the most dangerous cities in the world, with a higher rate of violent incidents than some conflict zones. Violent crime is not only widespread but also localized. The security situation is complicated, with many serious crimes occurring frequently, even in broad daylight. What is particularly frightening is that these crimes often target random victims, meaning that simply appearing at the wrong time and in the wrong place can have unpredictable consequences. What's especially heartbreaking is how this affects ordinary Hondurans trying to live normal lives. Children walk to school through neighborhoods where sounds of conflict are not uncommon. Small business owners pay protection money to organized criminal groups just to keep their stores open. Families live behind barred windows and locked doors, even in their own homes. The economic impact is enormous. Tourism, which could be a major source of revenue for this beautiful country, is severely limited by safety concerns. This is a cultural taboo that leaves many visitors completely surprised and can immediately mark you as disrespectful or ignorant of local customs. In Honduras, entering someone's home barefoot is considered one of the most impolite things you can do, equivalent to walking in and declaring that you do not respect the host. This may seem strange to people from cultures where removing shoes is actually polite, but in Honduras, bare feet carry negative associations with poverty, laziness, and disregard for social norms. Many Honduran families take this so seriously that they even post signs at the entrance reading, "Please do not enter barefoot." If you ignore the rule, you may be asked to leave or face uncomfortable stares from everyone inside. The cultural reasoning behind this taboo goes far beyond basic hygiene concerns. Many Hondurans believe that bare feet bring not only dirt into the home but also your attitude and energy. There is a common belief that a person entering barefoot is displaying carelessness and disrespect that affects the entire household. This applies not only to homes but also to many public spaces. Churches, government buildings, schools, and even some businesses require appropriate footwear. Flip-flops or sandals are generally acceptable, but going barefoot will mark you as someone who does not understand or respect local customs. Deep along the Caribbean coast of Honduras exists one of the most mysterious and sacred cultural practices, perfectly embodying its matriarchal society. It is called Hunguhungu, and if you are a man, you are completely forbidden from participating no matter who you are or where you come from. It is a deeply spiritual ritual performed during Dugu ceremonies, where Garifuna women use dance to communicate directly with ancestors and receive messages from the spirit world. Thick incense smoke rising into the air while hypnotic drum beats echo through the night. Mothers, aunts, and elder women sway their hips in repetitive, trance-like movements that can last for hours. The dance is not meant to impress or entertain. Instead, it is powerful and purposeful, with every gesture carrying spiritual meaning. The woman's body becomes a bridge between the living world and the spirit realm, allowing ancestors to communicate and guide the community. Men are not only discouraged from participating in Hunguhungu, they are spiritually barred. If a man attempts to intrude or join the dance, he is immediately asked to leave and considered spiritually impure. The community believes male energy in these rituals can disrupt the ancestral connection and potentially harm the village. The prohibition is not based on sexism as we might interpret it today. Instead, it reflects the Garifuna belief that women possess unique spiritual powers that men do not. Honduras offers a culinary experience most visitors never expect, blending influences from Central America, Spain, indigenous traditions, and the Caribbean into dishes that will completely change your perception of Central American food. The country's most beloved dish is the bailada. These are soft tortillas filled with mashed beans, cheese, sour cream, and optional meat or scrambled eggs. For a full cultural experience, order the plato típico, which means typical plate but delivers a burst of flavor. This hearty meal includes rice, grilled meat, sweet fried plantains, beans, cheese, and corn cakes. Each component complements the others, creating a perfect balance of sweet, savory, and salty, representing the diversity of Honduran agriculture. A dish that truly captures the nation's cultural fusion is tapado al lanchano, a rich stew combining chicken, beef, and coconut milk with local vegetables and spices. The result is an accessible dish reflecting both indigenous cooking techniques and Caribbean influences brought by coastal communities. The country's coffee culture is also noteworthy, with highland regions producing beans that rival those of more famous coffee nations. Many small farms welcome visitors for coffee tours where you can learn the entire process from plant to aromatic cup. Let's talk about money and the reality of the cost of living in Honduras, because the numbers may shock you whether you are considering travel or wondering about the economic conditions shaping daily life here. In the city center, you can rent a one-bedroom apartment for about $380 to $630 USD per month. Move to the suburbs, and the same apartment may cost only $250 to $440 USD per month. Grocery costs are quite reasonable if you cook at home. A single person can easily spend $190 to $380 USD per month on food, especially if shopping at local markets for fresh ingredients. Dining out is also extremely affordable. A casual restaurant meal costs around $6 to $13 USD, while even higher-end meals rarely exceed $25 to $63 USD per meal. Public buses are extremely cheap, at about 65 cents per ride. Taxis and rideshare services range from $4 to $13 USD depending on distance. If you own a car, gasoline costs around $5 to $6 USD per gallon. Basic utilities including electricity, water, internet, and mobile service typically cost $100 to $225 USD per month. For leisure and lifestyle expenses such as a gym membership, movies, or weekend trips, budget an additional $65 to $250 USD per month. In practical terms, a single person can live comfortably in Honduras on a monthly budget of $880 to $1,900 USD. For short-term visitors, a one-week trip may cost only $380 to $500 USD, including accommodation, dining, and recreational activities. There you have it, 15 shocking facts about Honduras, revealing a nation far more complex, fascinating, and contradictory than most people imagine. What surprised you most about Honduras? Which fact made you want to learn more? Let me know in the comments below, and if you found this video interesting, Subscribe to the channel to see more documentaries uncovering hidden truths about countries around the world. Thank you for watching and see you in the next documentary.